Hi friends, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. Today I want to share with you guys kind of like a final recap of how we went from co-sleeping to Esmé sleeping in her own bed, because I have shared with you over the course of the years that I've been doing YouTube, how we weaned from breastfeeding, how I slowly transitioned her to a big girl bed, and like all these things. So today I'm just going to give you the final step and where we're at in terms of our co-sleeping situation. If you are new to my channel, I'll give you a little recap, but basically Esmé, my 2.5-year-old, began co-sleeping with me pretty much from the get-go, but I would say more regularly from about 3-4 months onwards. Initially, I had her in the Moses basket. Occasionally, I would fall asleep with her in the bed, and then it just became more and more comfortable, habit forming. I don't know. It was just, to me, the easiest way to function in the evenings, because them long nights are not easy. Eventually, she just started being in our bed every night, and it was just the easiest thing for us to do, so we kept it up. Then when she was about 1.5 years old, I fell pregnant with Jack, who is now 3 months. But when she was about 1.5 years old, I fell pregnant and was like, oh my goodness, we need to somehow sort of start getting her into her own bed, because how am I going to do this with two? That was our plan. We eventually stopped breastfeeding around 22 months, and being that was how I put her to bed, that was like a tough transition. If you're curious about that, by the way, I will leave some links below to those videos. Basically, to bring you up to speed, it was around November, December, so just before her 2nd birthday, we set her up with her own room, and we have a queen-size bed on the floor. I'm actually in her room at the moment, hence the pink. But so we have basically a queen-size bed set up on the floor with carpets and things around it so that should she roll off, she's not going to hurt herself. And what we started to do was to put her in her bed for nighttime. If she took a nap, I would put her in her bed, but she kind of stopped napping around her 2nd birthday, so we were more focused on the evening time routine. We're a bath in the evening type of family, so we basically would give her a bath, we would start winding down, that's like the winding down process. Around 7:30, we jump in the tub, we get her all bathed, we get our jammies, we get our juice, we get some books, and we all crawl in the bed and we read some stories. She would basically fall asleep with me tickling her, like the hair, the back, the legs, the arms, whatever she juts out at me, I tickle, whatever, and she falls asleep. In the night, she would basically make her way into my bed. So it would be like she'd go to bed at 8, and then by 11, by the time I was in bed, I don't know if she would hear me and start to stir based on that, like me getting ready for bed. Honestly, I was too pregnant and too tired to bring her back to her own bed, so we would just sleep through the night in my bed. So we'd always start in her bed, she'd end up in my bed. And we did that for several months because I just kept getting more and more pregnant and less energy to actually focus on this nighttime routine thing. Then Jack came along, and we really had not been focusing too much on her in the evenings in her bed, so she was always waking up in my bed, and I thought, what am I gonna do, And I had all these plans of putting Jack in his own Moses basket, and I put him in the Moses basket for like 2 hours the first night, and he moaned and moaned, and I thought, oh gosh, forget about it. I popped him in the bed with me. I had Esmé on one side, my husband was in another bed. It worked. I kept that up for about probably 5 weeks, solid. It was just too much in the evenings for me to focus on her bedtime, him, it was just too much. So I would basically get us all ready for bed at 8 o'clock, and for the first 5 or 6 weeks, that's when I was going to bed at 8 o'clock. And I was just watching, I had earplugs, and I would watch my iPad with both kids asleep on either side and just zenning out, we're talking survival mode in the beginning. So as he started to be sleeping better, and I felt like I had more energy to address Esmé's sleeping situation, what I started doing was putting her to bed in her own bed, and eventually she'd make her way into mine, and she'd wake up in mine, and then I had more energy, and I was like, we're going to put a stop to this. So when she would wake up, I would lift her up and bring her back to her bed, and I would snuggle her until she fell back asleep, and then go back to my bed. So for the first, 2 weeks, that happened several times a night. Now, where we're at is it's awesome, and it works really, really well. So we do the whole thing, 7:30. I'm really strict on that nighttime number. 7:30, bath, you know, get your books, get your jammies, the whole thing. We all get in the bed and read some stories. She falls asleep in her bed. Generally, she wakes up, I don't know, between 2 and 4. And it's probably because she has to pee or she's thirsty or one of those things. She comes into my room and I actually noticed this about 2 weeks ago, specifically says, "Mommy, come to my bed." Like, she doesn't want to come in my bed anymore. She wants to be in her bed. She just wants me to help her fall back asleep. Which is fine, because she's 2.5, and, you know, we're still working on sleeping. The long and the short of it is that we are still a co-sleeping family in the sense that I sleep with Jack, and that's amazing, by the way, because he sleeps at 8 p.m. and pretty much sleeps through the night, which I can't quite believe because I have never had a good sleeper. But in terms of Esmé's transition, it was just slow and steady, and it's all about what you're willing to do. If you are willing to get up and put them back into their own bed and just keep that up night after night after night, eventually they're going to want to stay in their own bed. And occasionally she sleeps through the night, and that's like a gift from heaven. But it worked. So that's our story. If you have any questions and feel like I've left anything out, please leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer it. And that's the scoop. So it is possible to go from like family bed to their own bed without much pain or discomfort, and I think she's better for it. I think she needed to sleep with me for the time that she did, and now she's happy to be on her own, and I feel like we made the right decision for our families. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up this video. I will see your faces in the next one. Bye! Can you say bye? And I'm here with Stuart Balfour, and he's the owner with his wife Claire.